Tom in North Hollywood. How are you doing? You're live with Eric and Jamie.
I am quite well, thank you. And I was listening last week, and I thought you were astonishingly patient with the guy who was just banging on about nothing much. The Hakeem, I guess it was. You did fine. I wouldn't not beat yourself up over that too much. But that's not what I wanted to call about today. There's been some discussion on the Facebook pages about miracles, and I wanted to kind of come in with the definition of a miracle within an atheist context or in a God-free universe kind of a thing. So I've got about 3 or 4 minutes about that, and I can stop in the middle and have feedback if you guys want to comment. Probably. But basically, you've heard me go on many times about behavior versus belief, and how I think really behavior is the game, and this is more of the same thing. I think that too many people criticize atheism and say, well, you guys have no morals, that if you don't know God, you can't know right from wrong. Mm-hmm. And that, I'm very much, take that as a challenge. It's my contention that miracles do not need to come from a divinity outside us. They can come from a divinity inside us. And I'm fine if you don't like the word divinity. I might have used harmony if I were hanging out with my musician friends. You can pick your own saintly or balanced or righteous or better nature. That's fine with me. And if you don't like divinity, yeah, exactly. If you don't like divinity, please send yours to Janet in Tampa, care of this station, because she likes chocolate and puns. I'm also not talking about magic, doves, and cards and linking rings, anything based on deception or distraction. I don't mean improbabilities of timing and revenue. I'm not talking about unlikely things like parking spaces or financial windfalls. And I don't mean deja vu stuff like, I was just thinking about you. That's not what I'm talking about with miracles.
What are you talking about?
They typically involve a choice. Miracles happen when a person or a group of people choose to take action or to refuse to participate in something. Situations and opportunities appear, often without warning. How we choose to respond can create a miracle. Professor Dumbledore in the Harry Potter book says it's our choices, Harry, far more than our abilities, that reveal who we truly are. A miracle is a transcendent act.
Sorry. I like
but no, it's true. That's a good quote. He's not laughing.
No, well, it's Dumbledore. It's
a good
morality
example.
from Dumbledore. I like it.
Yeah. But really quickly, so can you give us like an example? Because what it sounds like you're saying is that that you call good actions miracles.
Well, I consider it a transcendent act of compassion or solidarity.
What does the word transcendent mean in that phrase?
It's elastic. It's very bendable and stretchable, and I think that miracles
can you elaborate on what you mean by
to different
bendable?
witnesses.
Well, sorry. Can you elaborate on what you mean by bendable as an action? Like, can you give an example? Like, would getting a group of people together to give food to the homeless count as what you're describing as a miracle?
Wouldn't necessarily rise to the level of transcendence, but something like the Underground Railroad before the Civil War, where people were smuggling slaves, or the evacuation of Dunkirk.
Okay, so a monumentally significant effort.
Yeah. Okay. Monumentally significant, transcendent. Yeah.
So let me just pop in here.
On your witness. Go ahead.
The issue that we're running into is you're adding words like miracle, transcendent, and elastic. But I don't know that those serve any real function in describing that action. Those things are good. Those things are very good. They are, I just use the word monumental, like large and significant in a way. But the word divine and the word miracle have pretty much throughout their history, at least in recent centuries, meant of or relating to a god.
Or something that is supernatural and unexplainable.
Yeah. Do you think that these actions are supernatural?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because you keep using the word transcendent.
Completely within a materialistic,
So I think that the word miracle in that context is not a good one to use. I think that muddies the water, and what it does is it can create an umbrella that people who do believe in supernatural claims to hide under. If you use a more concise term, the ones that Jamie was giving an example for.
I would say more accurate.
Yeah.
Because I can say those actions are wumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually we should. So those are wumbo actions.
So a monumentally altruistic
significant
is a wumbo.
Yeah.
Right. So if we're to
pushing for it now.
So if we are to talk about really large acts of altruism, then I think that I would rather call it that, because the word miracle just has so much baggage.
Yeah.
Jamie was actually on a
show. Yeah. As soon as we got to this call about miracles, I was like, oh yeah, I was on Miracles and Atheists, which is a show that.
And they talk about miracles.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
And here's the danger: is we see articles all the time about parents who won't take their kids to the hospital because they think they can just pray the illness away from their child. And you have dead babies. I've read stories of, in 2018, someone's baby dying for a very treatable illness. And then afterwards, they move on to call the church and have the church come lay hands on their dead baby and try and pray their baby back to life. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, you're propping up that term. Yeah. And when you prop up that word, you are inadvertently creating a system where people who believe that kind of bullshit don't see just how terrible it is. And I think that we need to work on that. And not using that terminology helps. So I would say your definition of miracle is not what the colloquial use of the word miracle is. And so I would find something else. Transcendent as well. You can contextualize it, but otherwise what it's doing is it's using a language that is very much steeped in religious context.
The vibratory energy is resonating well today. I would go a step further. I would say that there is a loose colloquial version of like, oh wow, it's such a miracle this person survived a gunshot wound. I would say that that's damaging because even though we all know kind of without thinking that they're not saying, oh yes, Jesus personally intervened, the problem is that some people do mean exactly that. And when you say, oh yeah, it's a miracle, and you just mean it's a very good thing, what the people that believe that Jesus himself, or the intercession of, I think it was Our Lady of Fatima, guided the bullet slightly away from a lethal shot into the Pope. Those people hear you say, that's a miracle, and they say, yes, everyone believes the kinds of things that I believe. Yes, atheists have faith too. Yes, all of my faith-based conclusions based on me kneeling and talking to myself and doing whatever I decide to do anyway are entirely justified. There are ideas that need to be left on the garbage heap of history, and faith-based conclusions being valid in any way is one of them.
Yeah.
Also, the word miracle sucks.
I guess Oh, go ahead. Sorry?
Also, the word miracle sucks, so it's just sort of...
Okay.
Hashtag skeptic.
Sorry, we came down kind of hard on your hashtag right swipe Eric, he's single. We came down hard on your story that you had there, and the opening of our show was about respect. We respect you as a person very much, Tom, and we appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
But I think we may disagree strongly on the use of the language there.
Definitely.
Okay, I quite agree. I think my point was a little more trying to rehabilitate the word, but you're right that the word has all kinds of ugly associations and connotations and implications that I do not want to endorse. That's very true. I guess I was coming at it from a side of, well, let's recapture this word and let's show them what else it could mean. But maybe that's a fool's errand, that people just won't go there.
Well,
so
I feel like words like divine and saintly and transcendent are probably beyond our reach. But I'm very sympathetic to the idea of reclaiming words that have been stolen, just because the moment we start saying, okay, anything that a religion co-ops, we get rid of, well, we're going to get rid of a lot of language and a lot of, we're not allowed to have bread and wine at a table anymore.
Yeah,
I like bread.
When I stub my toe, I still say Jesus Christ, or something like that. You know,
they don't get to have all the swear words. I'm still going to say damn it. You can't take.
I'm perfectly fine with using God and Jesus Christ as expressions of disgust. I do that all the time. Yes, I hear read something in the news. Oh, Jesus Christ, are they serious?
Yeah,
I do that. Absolutely.
You can have my swear words when you pry them from my cold dead hands.
Yeah,
there you go. Right, right. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah,
Okay.
What? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, can I go ahead with my narration and just say, what was the word you used? Lombo? What was the?
Well, I said wumbo. It's a
Wombo.
Hashtag Wumbo. Make it a thing.
Hashtag Wumbo.
Hashtag Wombo. Yeah.
I Wumbo. You Wumbo.
We.
Yeah. There you go. How low can you go?
Wumbo.
Okay.
Well, whatever this is, you can call it Lombo, but they can occur when people, alone or in groups, see themselves in the face of a stranger. When we love our neighbors as we love ourselves, when we see compassion or demonstrate compassion. Mm-hmm. And I talked about the evacuation of Dunkirk and the Underground Railroad and the Serum Run in Alaska, where they delivered medicine through 600 miles of snow or this or that. An impressive or prodigious act of compassion or solidarity. And just because somebody performs such an act doesn't make them a saint. Oskar Schindler is kind of my exhibit A of people who perform incredible actions but are themselves not exactly saintly. So there's that as well. And I wanted to talk about my dad back when he was a Baptist preacher. He got tried for heresy and was fired from a couple of different churches, but he did feed his family on the collection plate for most of a decade in the 1950s. And he had a story about Jesus feeding the multitude, but his take on it was a little different. His notion was that what really happened was more like this, that the crowd was getting hungry and demands were being made that Jesus should produce food for them. And Jesus responded by telling the people that they needed to look after one another, that they were all God's children and so forth. Okay. And one little kid eventually said, well, it won't go very far, but I'll share my pieces of bread and some fishies. And he handed over his food, and the lady next to him decided, well, all right. And she passed him a bag of oranges. That
like stone soup.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
The stone soup story.
Yeah.
Somebody an hour later, they had 12 baskets full of leftovers because people shared. My dad's take on it is that was the miracle. That was the overwhelming occurrence. Was not a supernatural whiz bang creating protein out of thin air. It was getting people to see one another as kinfolk and so forth.
And I would just push back of wanting to use characters in the Bible as moral go-tos.
Yeah.
So that's one that is, again, setting up an expectation that is just not one that I would be comfortable doing. I love the stone soup type story, but in this case...
But we have it outside the Bible. The story is called stone soup.
If it's not in the Bible, you're going to have a whole lot of people saying it's of
the devil?
Well, it's either of the devil or it's fan fiction. That's how a lot of people treat, the Book of Mormon or other Christian adjacent religions, right? So we don't want to try and... You like that, Christian adjacent?
The Mormons don't.
That's cool.
But
yeah. So I while I like the story and I like the message that is coming across, I would not tie that into the religion. I don't want to give them...
Well, no, but I would say I agree with the underlying message, just not the method of delivery. I mean, should have used FedEx. It gets there faster. But I agree. We have to take care of each other. We have human problems, and Jesus isn't going to fix them for us, so we got to use human hands to solve human problems.
Oh, yeah. Well, ultimately, I think we're all on the same page about responsibility. That miracles are not something, or whatever you want to call them, are not something we can passively sit back and expect an outside power to provide for us. That's complete bullshit. We need to take responsibility. We need to make choices and take actions and participate in what's going on. And I think that as atheists, we need to defend against the charge that we have no ethics, that we have no morals, by demonstrating compassion and solidarity and looking out for one another.
Sure.
In ways that, I think Christians do a pretty shabby job of providing that, but boy, do they love to talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think we have atheism has no creed. We have no dogma, no doctrine, no scripture, anything like that. But I do think that we have a reputation that some of us, if we choose to, can protect by saying, yeah, we do too have ethics. We do too have morals, and we're capable of making choices. And that's really what I'm getting at here. That's the whole point. But your point is also very well taken about terminology, and that some words maybe just have too damn much baggage, and never mind about those. So yeah.
But the conversation is fun to have.
Personal item. That's it.
Or, what it actually makes me think of an episode of our sister show, The Atheist Experience. Somebody called in, and Matt Dillahunty was sitting in this chair, and they said, Matt, your name is biblical. It's in the Bible. Therefore, God. Or you should not be using the word Matthew. And Matt was
that's right. They wanted him to not use his name because it was in the Bible and he wasn't a Christian.
Good luck, So, Tom, this has actually been a really cool conversation. Yeah. We want to move on to some other callers, but we really appreciate that you called in. I know that you reached out to me ahead of time so that we can, secure you a spot and kind of make the argument a little more concise. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. No problem. All right.
Take care, brother.
Take care. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Before we move on, I actually also want to say, Jamie wasn't the only one on that Miracles and Atheists show. Our own Janet Ray was on it as well and kicked butt. So definitely if you want to see something that Janet did, check it out. We'll provide links.
He'll provide links.
I'll provide links. Let's see, what else? But,
that's because
how is the conversation? Do we really want to push a whole bunch of people to support something where people are propping up the idea of miracles? Do we really want to drive people to...
The people that watch this show should go watch us and Janet on that thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that.
We're not running banner advertisements.
You get my point, though.
I get your point. I think you're getting a little...
Yeah. We have 2 open lines, so give us a call, and we'll try and get you right in.
3 open lines.